Biden was president, it was everything about the eggs, the price of eggs. We got to lower the price of eggs. And now Trump retweeted somebody last week who said, shut up about the eggs. $5 trillion in 3 weeks, and we have only ourselves to blame. Trump said this would happen if we re-elected Biden. And Americans are like, but we need eggs. What else are we going to throw at the Tesla?
Remember when Bill Maher tore into Trump so badly that the internet couldn't stop talking about it? Trump's famous "I'm a genius" act crumbled faster than his border wall promises. When Maher pointed out his glorious inflated ego doesn't match reality, while Trump was busy tweeting about having the best economy ever, Maher was pulling receipts, showing how disconnected Trump is from actual facts. It's like watching someone who thinks they're wearing designer clothes, while everyone else can see. They're in their underwear. Spoiler alert, Trump wasn't just roasted, he was deep-fried. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. Remember when Trump bragged about being the ultimate champion of the working class?
You also have to respect that, the guy did win. It's more than half the country or whatever. I mean, I keep saying it. I'm not going to hate. You can not like Trump. You can hate him. I'm not playing this game that you mean girls play.
Yes.
Where like, oh, you know what? You can't sit at my lunch table because I'm just not talking to you. I don't hate half the country, and I don't want to hate half the country.
Yeah.
It's just not where my mind ever wants to go for my own mental health.
Yeah.
Is all this hate.
Yeah.
So yes, I will talk to anybody.
Yeah.
This is the same guy who literally lives in a tower with his name plastered on it in giant gold letters. Bill Maher couldn't resist pointing out this hilarious contradiction during his show where he absolutely demolished Trump's carefully crafted man of the people image. Donald Trump claims he's fighting for the little guy. Maher said to a laughing audience while he sits on a gold toilet that probably cost more than what most Americans make in 5 years. The audience erupted in laughter, but the joke landed because it exposed a fundamental truth. Trump's lifestyle is so disconnected from regular Americans that it's almost comical. What makes Maher's takedown so effective is how he contrasts Trump's words with his actions. Here's a man who talks about understanding the struggles of factory workers.
Trump wants to bring back manufacturing, and to get the ball rolling, he is manufacturing a recession. Trump puts these amazingly large tariffs on other countries, and when the countries respond with their tariffs, he acts shocked at their disrespect. He plays, let's spin the big tariff wheel. Ooh, round and around she goes. Where she stops, nobody knows.
While his homes feature gold fixtures that would make King Midas blush, Maher painted a picture of Trump, tweeting about fighting for regular folks while a servant brings him his 5th Diet Coke of the day on a silver platter. Maher didn't stop there. He delivered a blistering comparison of Trump's roughing it experience versus what his supporters actually face. Trump thinks roughing it means his private jet ran out of champagne. Maher joked, or maybe having to eat a burger without his name branded on the bun. The audience howled because they recognized the absurdity of a man who's never waited for a paycheck to clear, claiming he understands financial anxiety. The real kicker came when Maher pointed out that Trump has probably never performed basic tasks that most Americans do every day. This guy has never pushed a shopping cart through a grocery store or pumped his own gas. Maher said he wouldn't recognize the inside of a Walmart if you dropped him in the middle of one with a map and a guide dog. It's hard to claim you represent people whose daily experiences are completely foreign to...
Yeah, the stock market. Stock market has lost $5 trillion in 3 weeks. Yes, Trump, he's the Ozempic of the economy. Today, Greenland offered to buy us. There are CEOs out there begging Luigi Mangione to shoot them in the back of the head. It's an honor to be invited to the White House under any circumstances.
Absolutely.
One of Mahar's most cutting observations was about Trump's supposed connection to everyday Americans. Trump's connection to regular Americans is about as real as his hair color. Maher quipped, "Both are artificial, constructs designed to hide an uncomfortable truth." The uncomfortable truth being that Trump has more in common with European monarchs than with the blue-collar workers who fill his rallies. But Maher's critique went beyond just jokes about Trump's golden lifestyle. He systematically dismantled the gap between Trump's populist rhetoric and his actual policies. Despite talking endlessly about helping working Americans, Trump pushed tax cuts that overwhelmingly benefited the ultra-wealthy people. Exactly like himself, Maher highlighted how these policies contradicted Trump's working-class champion image, showing that his actions betrayed those who believed his promises. Trump convinced people who work paycheck to paycheck that a guy who has never worried about money, a day in his life, understands their struggles. Maher said, "It's like convincing someone who's drowning that a guy on a luxury yacht knows exactly what they're going through, because he once spilled his martini and..."
I don't hate half the country, and I don't want to hate half the country.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not where my mind ever wants to go for my own mental health.
Yeah.
Is all this hate.
Yeah.
So yes, I will talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Trump puts these amazingly large tariffs on other countries, and when the countries respond with their tariffs, he acts shocked at their disrespect. Trump wants to bring back manufacturing, and to get the ball rolling, he is manufacturing a recession. There are CEOs out there begging Luigi Mangione to shoot them in the back of the head.
The audience's reaction to Maher's takedown showed how effectively he exposed this contradiction. Each joke landed harder than the last because they weren't just funny. They were revealing uncomfortable truths about a politician whose entire appeal was based on an image that doesn't match reality. Perhaps the most devastating part of Maher's routine was pointing out how Trump's supporters continue to cheer for someone who wouldn't give them the time of day outside of a rally. These folks are cheering for a billionaire who wouldn't let them use his bathroom if they showed up at Mar-a-Lago. Maher observed the security guards would have them escorted off the property before Trump could finish his ice cream sundae. What makes Trump's disconnect so remarkable is how transparent it is. He doesn't try to hide his wealth or pretend to live modestly. His entire brand is built on flaunting extreme luxury and excess. Yet somehow, through the magic of populist rhetoric, he's convinced millions that he's fighting against the elite on their behalf. As Maher pointed out, it's a magic trick that requires the audience to ignore what's right in front of their eyes. The real genius of Maher's approach wasn't just pointing out these contradictions. It was using humor to make them impossible to ignore. When you're laughing at the image of Trump trying to relate to minimum wage workers while living in a penthouse that looks like Versailles with better TV coverage, you can't help but see the fundamental dishonesty in his positioning, from fake economic genius to fake facts. That's the story Maher told about Trump's biggest delusion yet. If you thought Trump's disconnection from regular Americans was ridiculous, his economic fantasies make his gold toilets look modest by comparison. When Maher decided to fact-check Trump's constant bragging about creating the greatest economy in history, suddenly the self-proclaimed economic wizard started looking more like a guy who just learned to count on his fingers. Trump loves to crow about his economic brilliance, like it's his superpower. "I built the greatest economy in the history of the world." He'd shout at rallies while his supporters went wild. But Maher wasn't having any of it. He set up a brilliant reality check that exposed just how hollow those claims really were. With a comedian's timing and a fact-checker's precision, Maher dismantled Trump's economic mythology, piece by piece. First on Maher's hit list was Trump's habit of stealing credit for economic trends that started long before he ever set foot in the White House. It's like taking credit for sunrise after waking up at noon. Maher pointed out how Trump would gleefully boast about positive economic numbers